Hey loves, it's Amber and welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. And welcome to my first official spooky season video. So as you know, October is of course spooky season and I wanted to actually do some videos in celebration of that this year. I haven't over the last couple years, and I certainly haven't until like the end of spooky season, kind of like right at Halloween for the last little bit, but I wanted to kind of take some time and do something, and I wanted to do something I haven't done. So I wanted to create some supernatural Sims. So I decided to start with fairies. So in this video, we are going to be creating two Fae Sims. We're going to be doing a feminine frame and a masculine frame, which is a little bit of a challenge for me. As you know, I'm pretty much always making feminine frame Sims. I don't really make a lot of male Sims. It's not my thing. It's not my vibe, but I'm trying to challenge myself to be more creative with creating my Sims. So we will make a masculine frame fairy as well. But we're starting, of course, with our girl because that's easier for me, more comfortable, something that I'm used to doing. So I'm pretty happy with how she turned out. She randomized with red hair, so I decided to stick with it just because I thought it was kind of different. I do a lot of dark-haired Sims because I do a lot of Sims with darker skin tones. She does have a browner skin tone. It's just what I'm comfortable with. In a lot of ways, I think that I worry about like same face syndrome, but realistically, sometimes you just gotta make what feels good to you. So this is a Sim that I thought was cute. I think she looks pretty distinct from my other Sims. I did try to give her pretty pointy features. I think all my Sims are gonna look somewhat similar because I do tend to use the same skin details most of the time. I have favorites and they kind of add certain dimension to the face that I really like, but because of that, they tend to look similar. I also did download quite a bit of CC from Mermazing, I think it is. Let me look. I downloaded a lot of CC that kind of really helped me when I was creating these videos because I didn't have a ton of stuff that I thought made sense for these fairy Sims. Yes, it's Mesmerizing. That's what their name is. I will link their Patreon down below. They have a ton of really good content for this style of Sim. And so I downloaded it for both the masculine and feminine frame. So you'll see it for both of these Sims. But I think it turned out really cute. And I think it was really helpful in creating these Sims. So when I was making these Sims, I did give them two different forms, and their forms are unlinked, so that I could make them have pretty different looks from their normal Sim form into their Fae form. I wanted their normal Sim forms to be like kind of mystical, kind of Fae-ish. Like if you look at them, they're not your typical Sim, but they're not necessarily over the top fairy, which is what I wanted to kind of lean into when we moved into their Fae form. So for example, the makeup was probably one of the biggest things. Is I didn't want her makeup to be like too over dramatic in her kind of standard Sim form because I wanted it to seem like she's just like a girl that's just kind of into the mystical aesthetic, but she's not like supernatural or anything, you know, she's just a girl. And I think she turned out really cute. I actually am really happy. It's pretty uncommon for me to use makeup that is as bold as I maybe went for her. I typically do a lot more like neutral tones, and our girls rocking the pinks and the purples. I also did want to do some kind of magical tattoos. So we did get these new tattoos with Enchanted by Nature that I thought looked really cute. And I like that they had some kind of like less prominent colors. I like that kind of just like that brown, like just sits on her skin, and I thought that was really complimentary. I did end up kind of changing her color palette between her normal Sim form and her fairy form. As you know, if you watch me create Sims here on the channel, I tend to lean into color palettes. So I was initially going to do like purples for her, but I ended up doing something that I don't do often, and y'all are going to be like, yes you do, but oranges. There is also a lot of pink though, which is probably why you'll think that like it looks like things I do all the time. But I feel like there's a lot of orange in it, and orange is not one of my favorite colors. So I don't use it very much. So for this, I ended up kind of going with like some oranges, yellows, and pinks, and I think they look really good on her. Very like vibrant and bright. I think they go well with her hair color. I think they look good. I kind of wanted her fairy outfit to be more mystical feeling than her everyday wear, and honestly, if I'm being completely truthful, I don't know if it is. I think that her everyday outfit might actually feel a little bit more whimsical than her fae form outfit, but I still think it's really cute. I like the way it turned out. I spent quite a bit of time kind of going through the different pieces of CC to see what I could create. And then after this video, I did actually finish all of her outfits because I did want her to have full sets of outfits because I do have some plans for these Sims, and so they do need to be fully dressed. They are going to be added to my save file, but they're going to be somewhere else. You will see them again later, so they need to have all of their fits. And because these Sims have two separate forms, I don't know what form they're going to be in. So I needed to make sure that they actually had good outfits for both forms, because just my luck, I'm going to do all of these normal Sim forms and they'll constantly be in their fae form. So I did go through and create all of her outfits. It took me quite a while. I am not a fast creator when it comes to Sims. I kind of spent a ton of time on my Sims. Like, this video is obviously sped up, but it took me like 40 minutes to make these two, and all I did was their everyday outfits. So not someone who can power through a Sim creation, especially if I'm using CC. Like, if I'm gonna make some vanilla Sims, like maybe I can get them done a little bit quicker, but using CC, and especially like with a feminine frame, it's gonna take me a little bit. As you can see, we've moved on to the wings, and I like the bigger wings for the Sims, so I went ahead and gave her some of those, just kind of adjusting the colors so that they match with her fits and match with kind of her vibe. And I will say that the fairy Sims are real interesting to work with in CAS. They are very mobile. I used to have a mod that made Sims stand still, specifically the supernatural Sims stand still, because our girl is really floating. But I also wanted to do something pretty dramatic for her eyeshadow or her makeup for this fairy form. So here we're going. I'm looking for some eyeshadow, and there's one random eyeshadow that I don't know where it came from. It's like really vibrant, but it didn't actually come with the Enchanted by Nature pack. I'm not sure where it came from, but I decided instead to go for more of like the face paint to get kind of that dramatic look for her. And I think it turned out cute, and I liked her hair. Like, I love that Enchanted by Nature hair. And I feel like it's probably a little bit long to be hers, but it's fine. It's close enough. I also struggled with naming her. I didn't think of names in advance, which I typically do. It takes me a little bit to come up with a name. And so since I didn't have one planned, I just randomized the name May. And then, you know, her last name's just Faye. So her name's May Faye. Does that make sense? Probably not, but that's what her name is. So I might change it. If you see her again, she might have a little bit of a better thought out name. But for now, I thought it was cute, and I made her a pretty happy little fairy. She has the cheerful, mystical, and loyal traits. And I also realized that I wanted to give her like more unique eyes for her fairy form. So I had originally given her pink eyes, which I know are not natural, but I like kind of having sort of unnatural eye colors. And then I want to give her like the glowy eyes for when she goes into her full fae form. And now we're moving into our masculine frame Sim. And as you can see, we're more than halfway through the video because he takes me less time. It always takes me less time to make masculine frame Sims because I maybe don't do as much as I should for them. I did try and give him more detail than I typically would. And for him, I was kind of drawing inspiration from him being like a fawn. Like, he is my fawn Sim is kind of the idea that I had for him, especially since he randomized in kind of with these very, very brownish colors, like the brown hair, the very kind of brown skin. I thought a fawn. So I just downloaded this hair and I thought it was so cute and kind of perfect for him. So I went ahead and gave him that. He also has yellow eyes, which I also think is like pretty appropriate for kind of that fawn aesthetic. And then for his everyday wear, I wanted it to be something that made sense for a Sim to wear. They were able to, like, I don't want him to seem like a fairy all the time, if that makes sense. I want these two to be able to blend in when they're in just their normal human Sim form, while just kind of feeling like something a little bit more unique. And then for his color palette, I did go for kind of greens and browns. I thought that that made sense. I wanted him to feel a little bit more earthy than her. She's like mystical, kind of flighty, magical, and I wanted him to feel very earthy because I think it just makes more sense for a fawn, right? Like it's just like a very earthy type of being. And so that's what I kind of went with for him. Also tried to give him more detail, so making sure that he did have a good bit of body hair because I thought that made sense with kind of what we were going for him. And then he also ends up with one of the Enchanted by Nature tattoos, and I gave him some more on his stomach. And so I did want to make sure that you could see that in his Fae form since you can't really see it in his normal Sim form. I also turned his eyes like a bright kind of orangey color from the yellow that they were because I thought that that felt more magical as well. And then I had to do the beard. I just had to. I think this beard is so cute. I feel like it's a bit much to have on in your like everyday form, but for his Fae form, perfect. And then of course I remembered that we had horns, so I thought those were perfect for him as well. I did go back and forth a lot for what he needed to wear. We have like the top that came with the pack. It's pretty like open, and I just couldn't decide if I wanted him to have on a top that was like that open. So I tried on a few different tops, but then I felt like I was getting a weird amount of abdomen showing. Like, I don't know, it just feels like a weird bit of tummy. Like, I'm good with showing tummy. Obviously, I ended up showing all of his stomach, but this just felt like they didn't quite match up. I feel like the pants needed to come up just a little bit higher for this fit to make sense. And then I was kind of struggling with like matching the color palettes because between the CC collection and the actual content from the pack, the colors just didn't quite blend the way that I wanted. So I end up, just letting him kind of let it all hang out. So we do use the top from the pack that kind of is a little bit more exposed, but I think it shows off his tattoo well. And I think it looks really good. I think he looks good in it. And I think it pairs well with kind of like the accessories that he has on his arms and stuff. I think he just kind of gives the vibe that I was hoping for. And then of course we gave him the fawn feet and then some kind of green and brown wings. And I think those turned out really nice. So I'm very happy with these two. I think they turned out cute. Let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite. And let me know how you think I did. I think these are the first fairy sims that I've actually made since the Enchanted by Nature pack came out. But maybe I didn't. I don't know. Don't hold me to it. But I think that turned out well. Let me know what you think. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video. And let me know what other supernatural sims you want to see on the channel. I hope you have a wonderful day. I want to say thank you so much for watching as absolutely always. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.